This is Michael Hayes.
This is Jason Wayne.
You're watching Triple Threat Talk.
You're watching Triple Threat Talk.
And welcome everyone to yet another exciting edition of Triple Threat Talk. And maybe I got runs here.
One game up.
Despite, and no, the reason I say it is because last week we said everything was going to change, and it turns out it's
well, I'll do it real quick. We're going to do it later in the pick'ems, but look up on the screen. I mean, I went 9-7. Both Postmaster and the Doctor went 10-6. It's funny. You saw the picks from last week who I had, and I had Tennessee and Jacksonville, who ended up winning, but then Washington and Atlanta balanced me out, so that's why it ended up as close as it did. So
fail.
It was weird.
It was weird. And then the biggest shocker, we'll get to more football later, but the biggest shocker is we all picked Baltimore, and they failed against Seattle. So that's all well and good. Coming up later in the show, obviously you saw at the beginning of the show, we had Michael Hayes' interview this week, so that's coming up a little later on. And now we get to questions list like we do every week.
All right, let's kick it off from Against All Odds 20. Who is Undertaker's opponent at WrestleMania 28?
I don't know. There's been some speculation, of course, in last year or so, that it has been that it will be Sting. That's who I don't know. That's who I'm kind of thinking.
I mean, we're both going, so I mean, coming from a fan standpoint, who would you like to see? And then coming from a professional standpoint, who do you think is going to be there?
From a fan standpoint, I'm going to say Sting.
Okay.
Because that is a long shot, I think. From a professional standpoint, probably Brock Lesnar.
Again, that might be a fan standpoint too.
Maybe.
From a professional standpoint, obviously Sting, again, last year, if you didn't know, they almost had to sign a deal with Sting to get him to wrestle at 27, but he didn't. Professional standpoint, I mean, obviously people were going to speculate John Cena, but he's involved with The Rock. I might have to go with him, possibly Brock Lesnar, just because he's doing promotions for the game right now, and he might be involved with them. But other than those two, I really can't think of someone to maybe face the Undertaker at Mania at this point. Maybe Wade Barrett, if he's got nothing to do. Maybe something like Wade Barrett. I don't know, but we'll see what happens.
All right, from the Michael Cage. Should the Divas division get a boost?
I think so. I think one match a week, one match a pay-per-view is not really enough. I mean, they got some exciting stuff going on there. I think they could use a boost.
It's rough with the Divas division because some of the talent's not that great anymore. I mean, Maurice left and she was one of the better ones in the ring. Mickey James went to TNA. Trish Stratus retired and so on and so forth.
Yeah, Kim went back to TNA.
Exactly.
She's now the TNA Women's Champion.
Exactly. And, I mean, I can name maybe like 2 or 3 wrestlers that in WWE are like really, really good. I'd say Eve. Kelly's gotten a lot better, and maybe and Natalya, Beth Phoenix. Beth Phoenix and Natalya, but it's like the roster of the Divas right now, it isn't strong enough to have a warrant a boost at this point. I mean, I'm not trying to toot their own horn here, but OVW's got some good females in the ring. Taylor Hendricks, who's now the current OVW champion, she's pretty good. So if OVW gets some people, I don't know how they're going to work because they work with TNA at this point, but WWE needs a boost from somewhere. They need to grab some indie girls and start building up because their Divas division is lacking right now. So
Right, absolutely. I totally agree with him. They do need to be built up. They've kind of took the back burner. And they don't even do a whole lot of gimmick stuff with them anymore like they used to. So they definitely need to step it up on that front.
And again, to that point, their matches aren't usually that long anyway. They're like maybe 3-5 minutes tops.
Exactly. So. Also from the Michael Cage, do you think Diamond Dallas Page will ever return, or who would you want to return as well?
I don't know. I think he's probably happy doing promotional stuff like the video, like the OMG, that whole thing. I'd love to see Razor Ramon, Scott Hall return. I don't think it's ever going to happen. But hey, he asked who we'd like to see return. Right. That's who I'd like to see return.
I like to see DDP return just because he was one of my favorites in WCW. Again, I probably agree with Doctor. He's probably just fine with doing promotional stuff. He's probably done. Actually, this has been reported recently, and I'll say it to you now, and it's kind of a shame. A person likes to come back most is Chris Jericho, and that's probably not going to happen. He said on Twitter that he's probably done with WWE. He's probably not going to come back. He said he's the type of guy who doesn't want that big send-off like Edge got at WrestleMania. He just wants to leave on his own terms, and again, you can respect that, but again, coming from a fan standpoint, you do want Jericho to come back, bring some life back into the company because he is one of the best, and come back and have his one final match.
Right. I think DDP could return to some extent. I mean, I don't know to what capacity. It may not be a very big role. It may not be long. And as far as who I would like to return, the person I think I would love to see return the most can't return because he's no longer with us. But definitely, if it could be possible, definitely Eddie Guerrero. Obviously, his career was cut short by what had happened. And just this past week was the tragic 6 years, believe it or not. I can't believe it's been 6 years already since the passing of Eddie Guerrero. But that would be somebody I would definitely love to see return if it could happen.
I want to throw a shout out real quick to all the great fans that tweeted Vicky Guerrero on that day. I guarantee she appreciates everyone tweeted her that day about Eddie Guerrero. That was really, really respectful. So. And
from Undead Warrior 75, who is the most overrated wrestler of all time?
John Cena.
Of all time?
Of all time. John Cena.
I don't think it's John Cena because I'll just go real quick.
Wow.
I don't think it's John Cena because...
Wait a minute. Okay. I want an explanation. You can't just throw it out there so blatantly and not give an explanation.
I just think that the way he's been run down our throats, and he does, like we say all the time, same 5-6 moves every week for, 7 years now? Roughly. It gets a little redundant. It gets a little ridiculous.
Him being run down our throats does not make him overrated.
I think it does. Okay. I think to an extent that it does, because what happens is, as they run it down your gullet, your throat, and nobody, the arena, Cena rocks, Cena sucks. Or let's go Cena sucks. That tells you right there he's overrated. I think the fact of the matter is people are at their breaking point with John Cena. And the WWE is starting to see, he's been out of the title picture. Still, they figured out a way. Like I said when we first started the show, what did I say? If they could find a way to get him out of the title picture, but put him into the spotlight, that would be best for the company. That's what they're doing right now. He's out of the title picture, but he's still in the spotlight. He needs to stay out of the title picture for a little while longer, and then he may not be overrated. But as of right now, I honestly think he may be the most overrated wrestler because of we've done spoonful after spoonful after spoonful of John Cena. We're starting to see the reactions from the fans. It's that time where we can call him overrated.
Disagree. I think, over the years, obviously, no one's going to call John Cena a technical wizard in the ring. No one's going to do that. But I think the skills he has on the mic, bar none to anybody right now. Nobody has better skills than he does right now. Maybe The Rock, but I mean active.
And I've never argued that for 1 second. You guys, I'm on record as saying I don't like his in-ring style. I love him on the mic. I think he's one. I agree with you. I think he's one of the greatest on the mic.
Right, and I think in the beginning of his career, Cena wasn't that great. Obviously, people. I mean, if you watch the Triple H DVD, King of Kings, he said John Cena sucks. John Cena's like, oh, how did I do? He said you sucked. So obviously, in the beginning of his career, John Cena wasn't that great. But I've watched John Cena over the years. I saw him debut up until now. Obviously, he's gotten a lot better in the ring. There's no denying that. There's no denying Cena's really worked harder in the ring to get better, technical skill wise. I mean. The guy's doing leg drops off the top rope. He's doing high-risk maneuvers. He's doing submissions. He's trying to grind out his game. But to answer the question, I might get a little flack for this. I don't care. Who I think the most overrated wrestler is probably Mick Foley. Because Mick Foley, when he first came into the WWF, back when it was WWF, his Mankind gimmick was great. But then as soon as he made that turn to the Hardcore Legend, he won the WWF title. There was nothing really special about him. I mean, I just didn't see the allure, the aura of Mick Foley, in my opinion. I mean, I could be wrong, but in my opinion, I think Mick Foley is the most overrated superstar of all time. I have respect for Mick Foley, nothing but respect for the man, but I still think he's the most overrated.
Brock Lesnar. And I'm going to tell you why. He came in at a time when Vince McMahon was so obsessed with the big guy, and the big guy this and the big guy that. He wasn't that good. He's just a big guy, very muscular, steroid user. He had the persona that Vince wanted. He was big and powerful, but he wasn't that good. I'm sorry. I just totally disagree. I don't think Brock Lesnar was a good wrestler. It's just because he was big, and that was Vince's thing, and it's always been Vince's thing, and so he was overhyped. So, from Blue Knight 851, new viewer question this week. Thank you for that. With the direction of the WWE Tag Team Division, the way it's going right now, do you see them bringing in any new teams in the near future?
I think Mistruth was a good start in the right direction for that.
Right.
I definitely see a couple, like we said, the Kings of Wrestling will be coming soon. The question remains though if they can keep it up. Bull Buchanan making a special guest spot on Raw. I mean,
his dog bit him.
He did make a very valid point, though. He said all great tag teams break up. I mean, that was his contribution
That's
to
always
the
been
show.
that way.
I mean, it's always been that way, and the WWE needs to stop doing that.
One example of that is Crime Time. They broke up, and then it was awesome to see Shad go heel, and then they did nothing with it. So that's a different topic. But I like to see them bring new tag teams in. But the bigger question here is how much focus are they going to put on the tag team division? Is it really important to them anymore? Because obviously you've seen. Look, the big example right here is Kofi Kingston. He has won half of the tag team titles, and obviously, for those of you, you know Evan Bourne's out because he's suspended because of drug use. But that's the big thing right there. It's Kofi Kingston is the tag team champ. He's half of the tag team champions. Why don't they just stick with another partner and try to build the tag team division? Maybe give it to the Usos or something like that. Maybe like Hunico and Epico because they're a team right now.
Epico!
But I don't get it. That just boggles my mind that Kofi Kingston is one half of the champions, and it just seems like, we're just going to wait till Evan Bourne comes back. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I agree with him. I mean, it just seems like to me that the WWE Tag Team division is kind of like whatever we throw together and we'll make it work.
Let's make something work.
Let's just throw something at the wall and see if it sticks. So, they definitely need to do some improvement, sign some actual tag teams.
Yeah.
To your point about Mistruth, that's not going to last.
No, they're done soon.
But it is a step in the right direction.
It's a good faction, I agree. But
right. So, thanks for that question. Also, Blue Knight 851 asked, and this seems like a little biased question towards.
He gets them.
But as a big Cody fan himself, where do we see Cody Rhodes in 5 years?
5 to 10.
Unemployed.
Oh!
This is towards me, so.
I agree with him. Because he's a fail!
Anyway, let's do the professional thing here and answer the question.
We did. We answered it. It said unemployed.
If you obviously, of course, you're a big Cody fan like myself. Saw on Monday his mask is gone, so I think that gimmick might be going away. Got a new song, and now if you don't know, it's the band Downstage. Now it's 4 songs now. You have Dolph Ziggler, The Miz, Alex Riley, and Cody Rhodes. So
by the way, where is Alex Riley been?
I have no idea. I think he's on Superstars, but anyway. So they're getting a nice paycheck
He
downstate.
hasn't been anywhere, has he?
No, he's not.
But 5-10 years, I see Cody Rhodes probably multiple time Intercontinental Champion. At least 1 or 2 times as World Heavyweight Champion because he's been building towards that way. So, but the direction they're taking Cody Rhodes is very good. I mean, they're progressing his character. I mean, he was obviously starting at the bottom. He's worked his way to single superstar. He's getting a lot of TV time, which is good for someone in his position. So. Definitely look for some big things from Cody Rhodes.
Can we start a policy of drug testing before the show?
What I want to know is how much Big B paid this guy to ask a Cody Rhodes question.
I think Big B is Blue Knight.
I think so.
All of a sudden, this guy just shows up out of nowhere.
I know. Asking a Cody Rhodes question, and Big B gets all excited and goes into a tangent.
What have you been smoking there?
Smoke and mirrors. Anyway.
Whoa!
Anyway.
From JB11.
JBL.
2011. Do you think that Johnny Morrison and Wade Barrett will be your Money in the Bank winners next year?
Absolutely not.
I agree with him. Wade Barrett. This is not a knock to him.
Yeah.
But I don't think Wade Barrett's going to the Money in the Bank. I think he'll be champion some other way. I think the way they're pushing Wade Barrett, he's definitely the captain of the team this Sunday for Survivor, so that's a good deal for him. He's the captain. And you know, like I said before, they have things with people in WWE where they push him 1 minute and they don't, and they push him again. That's what they're doing with Wade Barrett. But John Morrison, I don't know where he's going to be because according to PostMaster, he might not be around much longer. He'll get into that a little bit later, see what happens with John Morrison. But I mean, we all like John Morrison, a lot of respect for him, a lot of great talent, but it doesn't seem like they're going to make that push for John Morrison to become a champion someday. So.
Which is sad.
Yeah.
And I mean, as of December 1st, John Morrison has 0 bookings for WWE. I told this to Big B and Doctor, which also leads me to wonder why they booked Dolph Ziggler versus John Morrison for the U.S. title at Survivor Series. Because Ed has been stated that he isn't booked for anything beyond December the 1st, and it's also been rumored that he has talked with TNA. I don't know if it's been formal talks, informal, right. But he has had some dealings with that. So I disagree. I agree with him. I think Wade Barrett could be the champion some other way, just outright winning the title. I don't think he needs to get Money in the Bank to win the title. I think he's better than that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think it was last week or week before when me and Doctor said Wade Barrett will win the Royal Rumble. I stand behind that.
Absolutely.
I think that's very possible. Although because Dolph Ziggler has 2 matches, that somehow he thinks that means Dolph Ziggler.
Look back when Randy Orton won the Rumble that year. He was on TV all the time. He was getting pushed to matches. I'm just saying it looks similar to what Dolph Ziggler's doing now. That's all I'm saying.
So with that being said, we thank you for all the viewer questions and all the great comments on the Penn State scandal. We appreciate your insight. We read those. Great insight by our viewers. Good job, guys, with that. So with that being said, I guess it's time to anoint our Viewer of the Week. And I think you said, and I said, and I think he was into some agreement that the Viewer of the Week this week should be the Michael Cage. So with that being said, the Michael Cage, you are our Triple Threat Talk Viewer of the Week. So from Viewer of the Week to
turning left of the week.
I'm going left!
Only for one more time, though.
Yeah, only one more.
The season finale at Homestead, Miami is upon us. Carl Edwards, Tony Stewart.
3-point lead for Edwards.
It's a Wild West showdown. Everybody's out. It's the finals of the gunfight at noon.
This is a rarity. It's just down to only 2 races can win the race, either Edwards or Stewart. So it's going to be a shootout on
It's
Sunday.
basically a draw. Going into it, 3 points is nothing. It's as simple as a blown tire or a blown engine or a spin.
Run
or
out
a
of gas. Yeah.
Run out of gas. It's that tight. Ratings for NASCAR through the roof. They were up tremendously last week. This has done nothing but boost the ratings. The bantering about, including today, they had their championship press conference down in Miami, and they asked Tony Stewart if it come down to the last lap or the last few laps, would you wreck Carl Edwards to win the championship? And he told the reporter, quote, I'd wreck his mama if I had to. And he also said, I'd wreck my own mother to win the championship. So, look out, Carl Edwards. He means business.
For those of you who don't know, if Edwards won, this would be his first title, and if Stewart won, it would be his third.
It'd be his third. And actually, an interesting fact regarding that, if Tony Stewart was to win, he would book in Jimmy Johnson's titles. And what I mean by that is Tony Stewart is the last driver other than Jimmy Johnson to win the NASCAR championship.
Right.
So he could be the next driver and kind of book in the two there. So it'll be an interesting race if you want to check it out. Pre-race starts at 2 o'clock Eastern on ESPN with NASCAR Countdown, green flag somewhere around 3:15. So I got a feeling I'm either going to be A, very happy camper, or B, the wifey's going to be a very happy camper. So I might be sleeping in the basement for a week or two, guys, depending on the outcome of this race.
I mean, to be honest with PostMaster, I mean, he's got me interested in it. I'm actually watching it, keeping up with what's going on with the two of them, and he's got me interested in the chase because it's very, very exciting. So.
I have no interest in it. No, I'm kidding. It's very interesting. I keep up with it, but other than that, I mean, I just think Tony Stewart's going to do it. I mean, there's just...
Well, let's hope. Here's hoping.
My pick was out. Of course, he was suspended, so that kind of ruined it for me a little bit.
My pick was done a week ago, so but I'm going to go with Carl Edwards on this one.
All right.
Two Stewarts. Like I said, I think we're going to start a trend. You sign Postmaster's car, you're going to win the daggone NASCAR Sprint Cup. So.
Well, nobody else is signing my car. So
well, maybe next year.
Here's hoping Tony Stewart wins it every year. So, moving on from the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series to a little... I think the doc here's got an update on the Penn State scandal he'd like to get into.
First off, round ball started, finally. The king of the round ball.
Oh, yeah.
Basketball. We're talking b-ball here, boys and girls.
I mean, yeah, 24 to 25-hour marathon of college b-ball.
It was
Wait a minute.
amazing.
What?
There's not 25 hours in a day.
It's not 25.
Well, you know what I mean.
Do you also think there's 57 states?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
Great.
But yeah, a lot of stuff. We're going to get into basketball, but I'm very excited for this time of year.
I can tell.
Yeah.
He's had one too many Mountain Dews, I think.
Really.
Penn State is in some deeper trouble. But see, now... okay, if I'm being indicted for these charges that Jerry Sandusky's being indicted for, who's the last person in the world you want to be interviewed by?
Bob Costas.
Bob Costas.
I think I'd much rather take my chances with Oprah or Barbara Walters than I would Bob Costas. Pretty much any way you look at that is going to be no good for you.
In the defense,
he's won 19 Emmys.
In the defense, Oprah might give you something.
Well, that's true.
And you know what? I'm going to touch your leg in a minute.
And it's not going to have any.
It's not going to have any sexual conflict.
Let me ask you a question, Postmaster.
Yes.
Are you sexually attracted to young boys?
How long did it take me to answer that question?
17 seconds!
Took him 17 seconds to answer that question. Hello?
I don't care who you are. If you get asked that question, it is an immediate no!
If you have any doubt in your mind, that's why you pause.
We're still waiting.
If someone asks you that question, you definitively say, no, he did not. He took a wild answer.
That's longer than a Catholic wedding intermission, for God's sakes, when it comes to that kind of a question.
And I've come to the conclusion that, Jerry Sandusky, you're not an idiot. You are a lunatic. You must think that this is actually okay what you did. And let's be honest, you can say, oh, well, we were slip-sliding in the shower. Like, woo! We were playing towel slap. Bull crap. That's not what happened. We all know what happened.
It's not funny.
And
it's really not, but you have to look at this. It's I'm laughing because it's ridiculously absurd.
Yeah.
It is.
Who waits that long to answer that question?
It baffles all three of us that the things he said to Bob Costas, it's like,
it was disgusting.
He thought what he did was acceptable, which obviously it's not.
And I told Postmaster earlier in the week when this came through, I don't think Jerry Sandusky, I agree with him, I don't think he's an idiot at all. I think he really thought that this was
He's
okay.
psycho.
Yeah. And I honestly think that he could pass a lie detector test. You could hook him up to a machine and someone ask him if this is wrong behavior, he would say no, this is not wrong, this is perfectly acceptable, and he would pass the lie detector test. I honestly think he
I'm not trying to defend Sandusky, but like the last question I remember Costas asking him was, is there anything of this you would take back or you thought was wrong? He said, I probably shouldn't have showered with those boys. He said that.
Yeah.
So obviously he knew something was wrong, so why did he do it in the first place?
So here's the thing. Why even interview in the first place? I mean, you're standing in trial. Anything he said can be used against him in the court of law. Anything he said. So he admitted to showering. He admitted to touching their leg. Oh, but not in a sexual
And don't forget the hugging.
He admitted to hugging them. He admitted to slapping towels and horseplay, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not an idiot.
Right.
He is bona fide psycho.
Yeah.
He is 6 cans short of a six-pack. That's how psycho this guy is.
And then McQuarrie keeps changing his view on it.
First it's oh, well, he didn't say anything. And now reportedly he's saying that he did go to the police, and in fact he did break it up.
Yeah.
And
quote, you guys know me.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But the Penn State Police, the what's the name of the town there?
Happy Valley.
Yeah, the Happy Valley Police Department have no record of him reporting it, or the Penn State University Police have no record of him reporting it.
What we have going on here, and this is where it stopped. I mean, it never was funny at all, because we always thought that Jerry Sandusky was going to get what's coming to him. What this happens now is their star witness now has a credibility credential problem. And that is bad news for the prosecution, because now it looks like McCreary's been lying all this time, but we still have witnesses coming forward, but he is their star witness.
Right.
He is their star witness. This does have an effect, a positive effect, for Jerry Sandusky. How much so? And see, after the interview with Costa seemingly convicted him even more in the court of public opinion.
Absolutely.
After that happens, then you have McCreary changing his story for the sake of his own image, and now all of a sudden Jerry Sandusky, it's like that interview with Costas. It happened and it was disgusting what we heard, but as far as public opinion goes, it's like it never happened.
Right.
Well, it's like I told him on Tuesday. Obviously Raw was on, so I didn't see the interview live, but Mike and Mike basically played the entire interview, and I listen to Mike and Mike every morning, and I'm sitting there listening to it, and I'm just like, really? You know, everything he says, it's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
You know, it's like, why? Number one, why are you saying this? You're openly admitting everything in this interview.
Mhm.
I mean, there's no way around it. I mean, it's recorded now, done deal.
Right.
I mean, keep your mouth shut. That's why it's called the Fifth Amendment. You reserve the right to speech. The defense's best defense is to keep the defendant shut up.
Yeah.
You know,
In this case, yes.
Exactly. So,
I mean,
I think
this Penn State thing's going to go on for quite some time. They're going to bring people in court, asking questions. It's going to go on for a little while. And unfortunately, the school takes a big hit in this one.
absolutely.
And also, we're not going to get into it. I told them they wanted to maybe mention it. We're not. I'm just going to say possible breaking news out of Syracuse. We're not going to say anything else other than that, except for we are going to film Tuesday, so we're going to be around for Thanksgiving. Tuesday, check it out. Maybe we'll have some more information. But breaking news out of Syracuse this evening. We're not going to say anything other than the fact that it is breaking news.
Right,
So,
absolutely. So, I'm guessing from that...
that does take us straight
Doc?
to round ball.
We got some round ball and some pigskin. So.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, before you get to round ball, I figure we go ahead and wrap up college football real quick.
Okay, sure. No problem.
I was just going to say, your national champion pick that you said belonged kind of took a little...
And it's funny. Beginning of the year, we all made our picks for the college, and
Right.
now the one I picked, they're right back in the game. Oregon's number 4.
And LSU still up there.
Right, so I mean, Oregon could.
And Oklahoma's coming back
And-
again.
Oklahoma's
again,
coming back.
It's a shame because he picked Boise State.
I picked LSU. I said
But you-
Boise
Boise State
yeah.
last
Right,
week
right.
is what
But
I
the
was
thing,
saying.
the thing with Boise State is, they're the type of school. Like, it's a school like LSU or Oregon or Alabama. They get one loss, they can fight their way back.
Right.
Boise State can't do that.
No, they're done.
They're done. So they might
They're
get.
going to get a BCS title.
They're gonna be BCS bowl if they win out and they go like 11-1 or whatever. And Stanford, they're 9. They're done too.
And see, the thing about Boise is they didn't have a bad game. TCU just had a better game.
Yeah.
And they beat them by a point, 36-35.
Yeah, and then Stanford got
On
walloped
a
by.
botched field
On a
goal.
botched field goal,
And Stanford got walloped by Oregon 53-30. So Oregon
Yeah,
showed their offense on that. game.
My NCAA title match is definitely out. So I'm gonna, like you said, like you guys did when your alls went out, I'm gonna amend it. I'm saying LSU Alabama round 2. I think Oklahoma's gonna lose. Oklahoma State's gonna lose to Oklahoma the last week of college football, and that's gonna set up for Alabama LSU.
I still go with Oregon. I think Oregon can fight their way back to number 4. They're not too far off.
I think Arkansas upsets LSU. That's what I'm thinking right now because Bobby Petrino, as much as I hate to say it, has the team going really good, and they win ugly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they do.
They don't look like they should be like in the top. What are they like 7th,
Yeah.
6th?
Mhm.
They don't look
Who's
like
the
they
top 10?
belong.
Yeah.
They don't look like they belong. They win, but it's so. It's like a couple weeks ago they were down like 14 or 21 in the third quarter, and it was like the fourth quarter. Somebody flipped the switch, and all of a sudden they come roaring back, and it's like they play so ugly, but yet they find a way to win. And I
Right.
think they find a way to win against LSU, which in turn puts Alabama back in the title, and I think Oregon somewhere slips up, and I'm saying Oklahoma may slip back in there, but it's wide open.
Yeah.
It is wide open. It's going to
It's
come
still
down
wide
to the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. College football is excellent. It's an excellent year because you don't have like 2 or 3 teams just absolutely blowing the doors off
Right.
of it. I mean, yes, LSU is very daggone good. Alabama is good. Oregon is good. Oklahoma is good. Oklahoma State is good. But you don't have one clear-cut team that you can say right here now without disdain that team is going to win. Nobody else can beat them.
Right.
I mean, they're all beatable. I think LSU, if anybody, has the best chance of going undefeated. And I think they are going to do it. And like I said, I strongly believe in the national title game. It's going to come down to LSU Alabama.
Okay.
But I mean, I really do. And at that point, I just don't know who would win the national championship.
Be field goal ballpark.
Yeah, right. Now from the pigskin to the only basketball you see this year.
Apparently.
Yeah. College basketball, it is that time again, everybody. And the Commonwealth of Kentucky and the state of Virginia and North Carolina, this is just the basketball capital of the world.
I mean, most of the time, like it's the truth. A lot of the college basketball eyes are on us right now, on the state of Kentucky.
And,
I mean, that is our professional teams here in Kentucky.
Pretty much.
I mean, they are. And hell, most years, Kentucky can beat the lowest end of the professional NBA team.
Yeah.
And U of L could probably beat the last 2 or 3 of the NBA teams, too.
Yeah.
But
Bill Self came out. This is interesting. I wanted to tell you this because I know you would love to hear this.
Mhm.
Bill Self came out on his weekly radio show after Kentucky, absolutely manhandled Kansas. They were up 18 with 3 minutes to go. They ended up winning by 10, but I think they put their foot off the gas a little bit. Bill Self said on his radio show that, he played North Carolina, a team that had Tyler Hansborough and all those guys on it. He also played the Florida team with Joakim Noah and all those guys that was really loaded. He said this Kentucky team was better than any of those teams.
Yeah, they really are.
He said that team was phenomenal. And that is big coming from an opposing head coach.
And it doesn't get any better after our starting 5. You have Kyle Wiltshire, who put up 26 points in their first game, and you have Darius Miller, who, guess what, is the same as Deron Lamb, and the fact that he can hit 50% of the threes outside the arc. It doesn't get much better. I mean, you rotate in and out. We have 7 or 8 fresh guys. Eloy Vargas looks a lot better this year than he did last year, being aggressive off the glass, fighting for rebounds, putting the ball up. And the news keeps getting worse for U of L, losing Peyton Siva today for the Butler game on Saturday.
What's in the water? I mean,
don't know.
Jesus. Rick Pitino, what are you doing to those guys?
This was just an accident. He stepped on Elijah Woods. Elijah
Justice.
Elijah, what was it?
Stepped on Elijah Justice's foot going for a layup in practice. So that's an accident.
Right.
But yeah, to your point, how many injuries do you get out of practice?
It's just freakish. I mean, we're talking about practice.
We're talking about practice.
Practice. Not even talking about playoffs.
I'd have to say the only flaw with Kentucky would be they need to learn to be in their dorm before 2 a.m. on a school night. I'm just saying.
They also need to learn to not be as showboaty as they were. I mean, they definitely deserve it. They're a young team. They got a lot of growing.
I mean, again, just like last year with Kentucky with a team like John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins.
That wasn't last year.
Oh, whatever. Well, you know what I mean.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. But again, they're at the spotlight again because obviously Bill
Step your game up, Big B.
Obviously,
Step your game up.
Bill Self said, they're a really good team. So once again, everyone's eyes are on Kentucky. Can they go to the national championship?
Coach K.
Some other stuff. Well, I'm going to get into that, but I want to get into some upsets. You know how the first week of college football, the top 25 all won? Remember that? Didn't quite happen this year for for basketball. Got a question. Who's Cleveland State?
I don't know, but they beat Vanderbilt.
Who's well, I mean, I've heard of Kent State before, but they beat West Virginia at home. Who's Enol? Enol.
Sounds like a mythical creature.
Elon.
Elon, thank you.
Elon,
I had
Elon, yes.
backward. Who's Elon? I don't know. They beat South Carolina.
Who's Long Beach
State?
State?
49ers.
I love that college.
Long Beach State beats Pitt at home.
What?
Really? What is going on here?
Pitt had a 56-game home non-conference win streak broke.
And now,
Just snap.
UK, of course, beat Kansas at Madison Square Garden by 10. U of L beats Lamar 68-48. And as Postmaster was about to say, Coach K,
Epic!
2 weeks out of Joe Paterno becoming the #1 winningest coach in FBS history. Coach K does it in basketball. 903 wins. Even as a diehard Kentucky fan, I have to say congratulations, and better you have it than Bob Knight.
One quick note about Joe Paterno that we forgot to mention in the Penn State thing that we should have mentioned. The Big Ten removed Joe Paterno's name from the Big Ten championship.
I heard that, yeah.
So just to throw that out there.
And they're thinking about taking the statue down in front of the school.
Right. So, but yeah, definitely a very huge honor for Coach Mike Krzyzewski.
Coach Rat-Faced Punk.
Whoa, easy. He's just a hater because of Christian Leitner. That's all.
That's the only reason I need to be a hater.
Anyway.
But here's the thing, and I want to get your all's thoughts on this. I've heard this numerous of times, and I totally agree. If Rick Pitino had never left Kentucky, he would have more wins or right around the same amount of wins as Coach K.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. I couldn't agree more with that.
I mean, I think that's a very true statement. In fact, I think Coach Pitino would probably have 3 or 4 more NCAA titles by now.
Yeah.
Because he had that team running like a machine.
Yeah, he had recruits in and out, and that's why Tubby was able to win it the year after he left, because those incoming
I think me and you could have coached that team, and they would have won a national championship. So, I guess moving up from the NCAA football and round ball to a little
Professional.
NFL.
Dun, 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 dun.
Week 10 recap.
I'm gonna say just real quick, player of the week for me was Tony Romo. He played lights out. He played as perfect as a quarterback could play against that game against Buffalo. They just shut him down. Dallas played extremely well, and they took control of Tebowing. They took control of the NFC East. They really did.
Works.
Yeah.
I gotta give player of the week to Justin Smith. And it's not even me being biased for the 49ers at all. Number 94 gets up. Eli Manning going for a potential game-winning touchdown. Adjusts the coverage. Justin Smith gets up there, bats the ball, fingertips it, throws it off course. Turnover on downs. The Niners win it 27-20.
Yeah, and they took control, and now they're probably the second best team in the AFC, obviously behind the
NFC.
And I said the NFC behind the Packers, and then obviously the big shame for PostMaster, the Indianapolis Dolts. They're 0-10.
0-10, and they're not gonna. Here's a good question that was posted today. First, good question. What will happen first in your all's mind? The Packers lose a game or the Colts win a game?
Packers lose.
Packers lose.
You think that'll happen first?
Yes. I do think the Colts will win a game, and I do think the Packers are going to lose a game.
I say the Packers go about 13-3 or 14-2. Mm-hmm. I say the Colts maybe go 1-15.
And now the probably some bad news out of the week. The Houston Texans, Matt Schaub out for the season.
So now you have
foot injury.
So now they're without Mario Williams.
Uh-huh.
Andre Johnson's banged up.
He's coming back though.
He's coming back, but they missed him, and now Matt Schaub is out. Can Matt Leinart? He hasn't taken a snap all year.
Leinart.
Matt Leinart, whatever. He hasn't taken a snap all year.
Not Lionheart. He's not Chris Jericho.
He hasn't taken a snap all year. With that offense, without the defensive Mario Williams, and Andrew Johnson's coming back with Arian Foster, can they still control the lead in the AFC?
Yes.
But some people are calling they are the best team in the AFC right
They
now.
are. Even with Matt Leonard at the helm, I think
Leinart.
I think they're still going to. I think they're still going to pull it off because he wasn't that bad last year at Arizona. They were winning games. He was completing passes. I think they've still got a shot at doing this. And like I said, you've got your playmaker right in the backfield. Hey, here you go. Take the ball, run it.
Right.
You got that. You got him and Ben Tate not equally as good, but at least 75% the player that Arian Foster is. And I think with those two backs and the occasional pass to Andre Johnson or Owen Daniels, I think, or even Dressen, Mike Dressen, their other tight end.
Right.
He has 3 targets, 2 running backs. I think this team is still
okay. They have 6 games left on their schedule. How many do they win?
They win 3.
They win 4.
I say 3.
All right. So and then the biggest shocker of the week definitely goes to my team, Seattle upsetting the Baltimore Ravens at home, 22-17. Again, everyone knows that Seattle is one of the best home teams in the league, but no one saw this coming, so this raises a question both ways. Who are the Ravens and who are the Seahawks?
I think the Seahawks are a team with one of the greatest weapons in the NFL, and that's Quest Field. I just think that, the environment at Quest Field, it is the loudest stadium, the way they built it. The only people year in and year out that have a chance to win there any given year are the 49ers, the Cardinals, and the Rams. That's it. Those are because they play in that division. I think that those are the only teams with it, and I think that the reason Baltimore lost was you give the ball 5 times to Ray Rice.
Yeah, it's unacceptable.
Really?
That's not good at all.
So that means okay.
And one other thing too, I guess this is kind of geared more towards this week. If you had to make a selection, who needs to win more this week, Philadelphia or San Diego?
San
Diego.
I say San Diego too because I think Philadelphia is not going to make the playoffs anyway.
And the thing I'll make a comment on real quick, Eddie George, if you don't know, obviously a great running back at Tennessee, went to Ohio State College. He still thinks Philly has a chance to make the playoffs. He says they're going to go 10-6. Well, guess what? Philadelphia's 3-6 right now, so he said they're going the last 7 games.
I mean, it's possible. They've got 7 winnable games.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen for 2 reasons. One, they're overrated, and they're not playing. They're like, I mean, you compare them to Miami Heat, they're not going to get the job done. And then 2, this week not only are they playing the Giants, but they're playing the Giants with possibly without Michael Vick. So that's a definite loss in my book.
But I think comparing them to Miami Heat is a false statement because the Miami Heat, even though they didn't get it done, they did make it to the NBA championship.
Right, but I'm saying you compare it to that because like
right.
when the season started, you're like, okay, the Heat are going to win by far, and the Eagles were the same way.
Right.
So
I think another thing that's going unlooked is Vince Young is just as dangerous, if not more dangerous, than Michael Vick. Sorry, I had a brain fart there.
Well, we'll see what happens. So,
another noteworthy game, real quick. Miami picking up another win over Washington.
That hurt me.
And then the other one is the Bears just beat the Lions.
Speaking of Washington, some news that's starting to creep around that a certain man by the name of Manning,
and it's not Eli or Archie,
may be playing for the Redskins next year. Really?
Again, that's just a rumor.
Just a rumor.
I hope not.
So
well, we'll see.
That brings me to another part of, before we get into our pick'ems here, the next part of the season, it's going to be Harbaugh versus Fox. What? And I know what you're thinking. Doc, what are you talking about? They don't play each other. What am I talking about? Coach of the Year. John Fox and Jim Harbaugh for the 49ers. Right now, Jim Harbaugh has it locked down. I'll tell you what, if John Fox can keep it up running, if they win their division, does John Fox win Coach of the Year over Jim Harbaugh?
No.
You don't think so?
Jim Harbaugh has turned that team around.
He has. But the thing is, if
Tim Tebow has turned the Broncos around.
Tim Tebow. But John Fox, much to his credit, has said, we're not going to do anything. We're going to run with what Tebow can bring to the table.
Right.
We are not going to pass the ball. I'm not going to tell him to pass. We are going to do what he's good at, and that is run the option.
But again,
that's very smart.
We saw a thing yesterday, the two of us, and we saw that like John Fox says if we run the offense with Tim Tebow, we can't do that.
Right. The normal offense.
We have to. He said we have to give up the crap, and that crap is passing.
Right.
What you have to do is you have to run it. I think that his name has to be put into consideration for Coach of the Year. I'm still going to give it to Jim Harbaugh with the Niners because of what he's done. But you cannot rule. I don't think you can rule John Fox out completely.
Right. All right. So moving on from that for the pick'ems for Week 11, as we stated early, the Thursday night game of the week, which is going on right now.
Let's get an update.
Can we get an update on that big game?
Last time I saw it was 10-10.
Okay. 10-10. All right. Well, me and Doctor picked Denver, and Big B here picked the Jets.
I want to tell people why we picked Denver, by the way, so they don't think we're crazy.
All right. Go ahead.
After a late Sunday night game against the Patriots, the Jets were banged up. They had a day off, which is sanctioned by the NFL on Monday. Then they have a travel day. And then they have a prep day. One prep day for the quote-unquote wackiest offense in the NFL with Denver. And they travel to the place where air is thin in the mile-high city of Denver. That's why we picked the Broncos.
Right. So
anyway.
Moving on from that, the Carolina Cam Newtons versus the Detroit Cowardly Lions.
The Lions are going to win, but Cam Newton's going to have a hell of a day.
Lions are going to bounce back from that loss last week to the Bears.
Is it at Detroit or at Carolina?
It's at Detroit.
Well, Carolina got absolutely trounced by Tennessee. Detroit has been on the downward spiral. But they are at home. So I'm going to go with the Lions. Okay. As much as it pays me. It really does. The Cincinnati Bungles versus the Baltimore Ratbirds.
I think there's a lot of people picking Cincy for this game. I can't do it because I just don't see them losing 2 in a row like this, especially this one at home. Again,
with Baltimore, they had a situation where they lost to Jacksonville 10-6 on Monday Night Football, and they bounced back and won the next week. I think Baltimore bounces back. I take Baltimore.
Here's the thing. Cincinnati is supposed to be a legitimate contender. But in order to prove that, they need to beat either Pittsburgh or Baltimore. They didn't get the job done against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh did what I thought they would do, and that's expose the young quarterback Andy Dalton. I think Baltimore does the same thing. I say Baltimore.
All right.
The Oakland Al Davises versus the Minnesota Pirates.
This one's at Minnesota.
I don't think it matters.
This might be the toilet bowl game
One
of
of
the
them.
week. One of them.
See, Oakland's good, but see, Minnesota got into a bad rut last week against the Packers. I still think they have some talent.
Anyone gets into a bad run, they play the Packers.
That's exactly what I'm saying. They've still got Percy Harvin and Adrian Peterson. The front line of Oakland, I don't think they can handle Adrian Peterson. I'm going Minnesota.
I don't think Minnesota's that good. Their offense is just bad. I think Oakland's got a good defense. They got a pretty good running game with Michael Bush back there and obviously Darren McFadden. I'm going to go with Oakland.
Oakland's coming off a huge win against the Chargers. They're first in the division, I believe. Minnesota got absolutely shellacked by the Packers. I think Oakland goes on the road and gets the job done.
Yeah.
I like Oakland. The Buffalo Bisons versus the Miami Dolphin Tails.
This is a tough game. This is a real tough game to pick. Because Buffalo came unraveled. Where's it at? It's at Miami. Miami team that seems to be on a roll.
I mean, really, they beat the Chumps and then the Redskins.
I still can't give it to Miami. I got to go with Buffalo.
I have to go with Buffalo. I think Buffalo bounces back. I mean, really, do you really think Miami beating the Kansas City Chumps and then the Washington Redskins means anything? It doesn't. I go with Buffalo this one.
I go Buffalo. And probably a blowout of the week. The Tampa Bay Watch Your Buccaneers versus the Green Bay Epics.
Packers.
I'm going Packers.
Packers improve. Green Bay.
Green Bay. In another probably absolute wash.
This is a good game for Dallas.
The Dallas Cowgirls against the Washington Redheads.
I'm going Dallas.
I mean, you thought, okay, Rex Grossman plays a little bit, and then he gets benched. And they put in John Beck, and he fails. And they put Rex Grossman in last week. They just failed last week again. Romo played fantastic last week. I think he's going to do it again. I go Cowboys.
All right, I go Cowboys as well. The Jacksonville Jaguars
This is the toilet bowl game of the week.
against the Cleveland Brownies. And an interesting stat I want to throw to you all. How many teams are there in the NFL?
32.
Blaine Gabbert has the 33rd rated passer rating in the NFL.
That's right, because Colin Kaepernick from San Francisco has a high. Okay.
Isn't that insane?
He's
a starting QB.
Quick update, Jets 13, Broncos 10.
All right.
Okay.
He's the starting QB, and he has the 33rd rated passer rating in the league. And
You know what word I use for that?
What?
Abysmal.
Yeah, Colin Kaepernick is the only with a perfect QB rating actually right now.
I'll stay that way because wrong play.
But I gotta go Cleveland.
I'm going to go Jacksonville. I don't think Cleveland's that good.
They're not. But neither's Jackson.
Well, I think, to their credit, Maurice Jones-Drew is one of the better running backs.
They are at Cleveland. So I'm going Cleveland. All right, so
That's the first one we picked differently.
we've picked several different actually. Yeah,
Well, besides the
We picked
Jags.
two. That's the second.
Oh,
one.
two.
all right.
Oh, and Minnesota.
The Seattle Sea Fails
See, Epics last week.
versus the St. Louis Lambs.
Seattle got lucky at Quest Field. There's no doubt in my
Oh,
mind.
here we go. Lucky.
He did. They did. I think,
What about Beast Mode, Marshawn Lynch?
St. Louis is at home. St. Louis is getting their act together late, but slowly but surely I'm going St. Louis.
Well, Seattle, again, doctors said they won last week because they're at home. If they were on the road, they would have got shellacked, obviously.
Yeah.
But I will not be a lamb, and I will pick the Seahawks.
You know what? You're picking the Seahawks. That was a bad pick on your part. You should have. You should have been a lamb and picked the Lambs. I'm going St. Louis.
Ay, ay, ay. This is turning into a bad, bad state.
Yeah, bad.
Real bad.
The Arizona Fighting Cardinals versus the San Francisco 49ers.
8-1. That's all I gotta say.
I
But
mean-
guess what? We're gonna go 9-1.
I
San
mean,
Francisco.
this, like we said, Green Bay and Tampa Bay or Dallas and Washington could be like the biggest blowout. No, this is San Francisco is going to completely trollop Arizona.
Trollop?
Yeah, trollop.
That's a new word. It's
I know.
Trans plus wallow.
They're going to trollop. San Francisco all the way.
San Francisco all the way. The Tennessee Two Steps versus the Atlanta Falcons.
And this is
I'm going Falcons.
This is a good game. Atlanta's getting their act together, and you know what? I'll keep saying it. I mean, Matt Hasselbeck's really stepped up for Tennessee. Chris Johnson's not doing anything.
He did last week.
Well, I mean, for the whole season, it's pretty much
they
Matt.
played the worst run defense
Right.
in the
It's
league.
Matt Hasselbeck controlling that offense. He's playing really well. He's showing why he was one of the better quarterbacks in the NFC when he played with Seattle. I'm going to go with Tennessee.
Wow. Really?
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 It's at Atlanta. Matty Ice is not going to lose to Titans. I go Atlanta. The San Diego Lightning Bolts versus the Chicago Black Bears.
As much as I want to pick the Chargers for this one, I can't do it. Chicago's on a roll. San Diego doesn't know who they are.
Yeah.
Mid-season, I gotta go Chicago.
I go with the Monsters of the Midway. Go Chicago.
Go Bears.
Go Bears.
Go Bears. The Philadelphia Fails. Overrated. Fails, whatever. Versus the New York Gargantuans.
And this is Sunday Night Football.
Sunday Night Football, and I tell you what, the Giants are none too happy that they lost to the Niners and gave up the right to potentially be called the second best team in the NFC, which San Francisco completely locked in.
Yeah.
The Giants take this one.
The Giants win, and in my opinion, end Philadelphia's season.
I say the Giants win, and now the worst possible
Another washout kind of game.
Monday night game of the week.
Where
do they get these?
Another one where I say it's probably going to be a trollop.
A trollop. Where do they get these matchups, really? I mean, I realize Kansas City won their division last year, I think, and
That's probably
That's where they got it.
I'm guessing that's where they got it, but still, it's a fail. But we'll watch it anyway. The Kansas City Chumps versus the New England Unpatriotics.
Oh,
I gotta go New England.
I mean, like last week, I picked the Jets to beat New England at home, and the Jets didn't get the job done. New England just looked so strong last week against the Jets. They're going to completely, like I said again, trollop the Chumps.
I go New England, and they are going to trollop. I like it. Trollop. Keyword. Trollop the Chumps.
You might see a backup quarterback in there one time.
So that wraps up the picks for this week. Kind of interesting. Me and the doctor agreed on every game but one. So here's the thing.
The thing is with the pick, with the top down and all that stuff, these two aren't going to change much because they're picking the same things. I'm going outside the box so I can catch up, and I made logistic picks. I made picks that would make sense, but we'll see what happens.
So here's the thing, Doc. If Oakland beats Minnesota, we'll be tied next week.
We'll be tied next week.
So again, they're only one game off each other, so it's getting close.
Hey, we're up there with the guys on Fox.
Yeah, we're hanging in there pretty good.
I think with Fox, I don't think they do it cumulatively. I think they do it week by week, I believe.
Survivor Series.
I know we usually cover Raw and SmackDown, but everything this week pretty much build towards Survivor Series.
So we're gonna move right into our Survivor Series selections. Our Pick'ems Part 2.
Well, before we get into that,
Wrestling Edition.
Before we get into that, obviously we're going to wrestling real quick, ladies and gentlemen. Interview this week. Last week we had Jason Wayne, and now for your viewing pleasure, here is Michael Hayes.
OVW superstar Michael Hayes. Michael, how you doing?
Good.
Good to have you back at OVW.
Thank you.
If you didn't see it, Saturday Night Special, Michael Hayes made his return to OVW. Let's get right into the questions real quick. Michael Hayes, for our viewers, tell the viewers at home how you got to OVW and how you're into wrestling.
Well, I grew up here in Louisville, Kentucky, watching wrestling pretty much my whole life. And then after high school, and I joined the military and getting hurt, I came home and I had to find something else to do with my life, so I turned to something that I was so passionate about growing up, so I wanted to become a wrestler. And being from Louisville, Kentucky, I was luckily able to come to the best place to learn how to wrestle here at OVW, trained by Nick
Back to the question earlier about Saturday Night Special. How happy were you to come back that Saturday and get your revenge on Muhammad Ali Fayed?
It was like Christmas. It was like Christmas morning. It felt so good to come back. It felt so good to take Ben Amin and toss him out of the ring. And honestly, I can't wait to put my hands on him.
Now you get back. What are your goals now that you're back? What do you want to accomplish right now?
I want to take it as far as I can. There's a lot of exciting things going on at OVW. Now it's time for me to take my career, take my abilities, and kick it up a notch and take it as far as I can go.
And the final question I have for you is obviously been reported a couple weeks back that you're also developing with TNA. How excited are you about that?
It's incredible. The opportunity for everyone here just it's amazing. It's amazing. It's what everybody has worked so hard for over the past year. I know since I've been here, and it's just it's an exciting step for OVW.
All right, I want to thank Michael Hayes. Really, really appreciate his interview. Again, thanks OVW for giving us this opportunity. And I guess, and last,
let's tell the viewers how epic Saturday Night Special was.
Saturday Night Special was great. You can check it out. You can purchase it. You can go to ovwrestling.com, check it out there. But it was great. A lot of good matches. Taylor Hendricks won the OVW Women's Championship. Main event was Rudy Switchblade versus Mike Mondo, and a controversial ending. I'm not going to spoil it. You should check it out yourself.
Right.
Great stuff from Saturday Night Special. And then real quick, I'll cover what happened last night at the tapings. I'm not going to give away any spoilers. Again, this Saturday, if you live in the Louisville area, I believe it's channel 138. I posted the link last week. And then if you're not in the Louisville area, you can go to ovwrestling.com on Monday, and that's when they post the episode there. Big things came last night. You had a 6-woman tag match with Taylor Hendricks and the Blossom Twins versus Lady JoJo, Taryn Shea, and Epiphany. You had a TV title match with his favorite wrestler, Alex Silva, took on Adam Revolver. And then in the main event, two great talents, OVW Heavyweight Champion Rudy Switchblade took on Jamin O. Valencia. So definitely check that out at ovwrestling.com. And now let's get into Survivor Series.
All right, so we'll kick it right off here. And I guess since he's top dino for football, we'll
Doesn't
let him
matter.
kick off for Survivor Series.
You guys are
picks
kicking
as well.
my butts this year on pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if we kept tracking pay-per-views, I think me and you were killing.
Yeah. He'd be in my position like in top.
The WWE Divas title. Beth Phoenix versus.
Why are you talking like this?
Wow.
Anyway.
Moving right along.
Heath Slater moving.
Beth Phoenix versus
right along.
I gotta say Beth Phoenix.
This is actually a tough one because they're both really good. You know, the Divas.
The blonde bombshell.
I'm gonna have to say we have a new Divas champion in Eve Torres.
I'm going to say Eve Torres is the new Divas champion.
Why are you talking like Ginger Mahal? Or like
Heath Slater.
Heath Slater.
Don't forget to pick up his drink, True Moon.
True Moon.
I'm being serious, that's a real drink.
I know it is. My Dean's milk.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah, good flow.
So now a match I know the doctor's looking forward to.
Team Randy Fail
Team Randy Orton
versus
Team Wade Barrett.
Wade.
I believe that.
Wow.
I believe the teams are Randy Orton,
Barrett.
Sheamus, Sin Cara,
Fail.
Kofi Kingston, and
John Morrison.
John. No,
Yeah.
it's not John Morrison.
Are you sure?
Yes. It escapes me, but I'll post the links. I'll post on the Facebook page.
It doesn't matter who the team
Who it is.
are. Wade Barrett.
And
Team Barrett.
then you have Wade Barrett with Jack Swagger.
Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph
Wade Barrett.
Ziggler was added.
Hunico.
Oh, Mason Ryan.
Mason Ryan.
Ryan.
Thank you, Mason Ryan. So I'm gonna have to go with
Team Barrett.
I'd say Team Orton.
Ooh.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me think.
You know Cody Rhodes.
No,
won.
Team Orton. Oh, Cody Rhodes is on there also. I gotta forget Cody Rhodes. I should be ashamed of myself. But I think Team Orton. And I'll explain why later. But I picked Team Orton.
I gotta go team. I think Barrett's gonna win this one, but he's gonna lose the next leg of the rivalry. But I think Barrett does win this one.
Team Orton. The WWE World Title, Alberto Del Rio versus.
It's clobbering time.
It's clobbering time. The best in the world, CM Punk.
I think there's a possibility, no, not 100% possibility of an attempt at a screw job here, but CM Punk overcomes it and we got a new champion.
I think we got a new WWE champion in CM Punk.
I think CM Punk is the new WWE
This match I'm
champion.
not looking forward to at all.
Okay, so now that Big B's on suicide watch again,
Leave a note.
leave a note.
Post-it note.
The World Heavyweight title, Mark Henry versus The Big Show.
I gotta give it to the Big Fail. I mean the Big Show.
You want me to die, don't you?
Time to die!
For argument's sake, I think Mark Henry wins, and I think he moves on to somebody else other than the Big Show.
I think it's total BS. Big Show wins.
No.
for the United States title. Dolph Ziggler, the United States champion, puts his title on the line against Jomo John Morrison.
I don't think there's any logical reason why John Morrison would win this match. I would want him to because of, we know him.
Right.
But I think Ziggler.
Again, the reason I picked Team Morton because I don't see Dolph Ziggler winning 2 matches in the night, so that's why I go with Dolph Ziggler in this title match. I'm telling you, keep your eyes on Dolph Ziggler.
Dolph Ziggler. And now the main event of the evening.
Main event.
Probably.
Should be.
The Miz teams up with R-Truth.
Also known as Awesome Truth.
Or Miz Truth, whichever. Versus John Cena and some guy I've never heard of.
The Rock.
Who?
Dwayne Johnson.
Who?
The Scorpion King.
Oh! Damn. Okay.
I got to go with Cena and Rock with an epic fallout after the match.
I think this is going to happen. I think I'm going to go with Miz Truth. And I think Cena's going to turn heel, and because it would make for a good feud going into WrestleMania. I think Cena's going to screw The Rock and turn on him, and The Rock's
I
going
don't
to
know if I'm gonna watch that or not.
The Rock's gonna lose to Miz and R-Truth. The Rock's gonna lose to the Miz and R-Truth, and I think Cena goes heel, and it makes for a better feud going into WrestleMania.
I agree with him.
I feel like I should hit the stop button.
I know, I think so too. But I go with Miz Truth as well. Same reasons.
Okay.
So that's our picks for Survivor Series. It should be a very good pay-per-view.
Very good. Looks like a good one. And then Survivor Series is right, into the road to WrestleMania. We have TLC, then Royal Rumble's right around the corner. So
it should be good. And we got our WrestleMania tickets in the mail, so we're getting pumped up for that.
you have a wild card this week?
Wild card?
I don't really have anything.
You got anything? I got nothing, but we do have this week. We have a double dose of Idiot of the Week. Drum roll, please.
So guess who else was busy at the midnight release of Modern Warfare 3?
Oh, we'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
I want to talk about the first Idiot of the Week first, and you brought it up to me first.
Is this so? What we? Oh yeah. So Arizona and Philadelphia. Guess who won that game for Arizona?
Oh, I assume it was Arizona's offense.
No, it was Kevin Cobb.
Well, he was not on the field at the time.
No, he wasn't.
How'd they win?
So what happens is the first quarter's going along. Kevin Cobb's on the sideline saying, "Well, golly gee, this is looking awfully familiar."
Golly
Is that what he
gee.
said?
He said golly gee.
Golly willikers.
What is he, from the Andy Griffith show or what?
He's looking. He's kind of, it's starting to ring a little bit of a bell because he played for Philadelphia last year. So then he says, "Hey, I know this offense. They're doing the exact same thing. Philadelphia didn't change their signs. How does that happen? Your quarterback goes to another team that you're playing the next year and you don't change your signs?" He's sitting there yelling out at the corners and the safeties the second quarter and the second half, saying, "Hey, watch out for this guy. He's going to run a corner route." Or, "Hey, this guy's running a slant route."
Right, yeah.
"Hey, watch out for a 5-step drop and a pass to the flat." I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Philadelphia got 17 points.
So that's our first Idiot of the Week, and then the second.
So the Philadelphia Eagles offense, Idiot of the Week,
Number one. But
number
number 2, you probably already know about. If you're a sports fan, you probably heard about this. But Louisville Cardinals football team, they played Pittsburgh this last Saturday. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
they played something else too.
Well, yeah, Pittsburgh won. You're probably thinking, okay, Pittsburgh's usually a better football team than UFL.
I won by 7.
But what's one key when you play football? Isn't it like preparation? Getting ready for the game, being focused.
Rest.
Right, but I think the Louisville Cardinals football team were more focused and preparing to play Call of Duty.
Call of
Duty?
That's correct.
What?
Charlie Strong said in an interview, we're not making this up, the Louisville Cardinals football team were not prepared to play Pitt because they're too focused on playing the new Call of Duty game, which is unacceptable behavior.
They're getting double XP.
Double
XP. Double XP cap right here. Double XP.
You threw him off completely.
That's a double. That's a double dose of unacceptable.
That's a double idiot of the week and a double fail.
I mean, that's just. I mean, for me, they're the bigger idiot of the week just because the fact that the Cardinals were not focused on the game; they're more focused on playing a video game. That's ridiculous.
So, Philadelphia, here's your sign, and good luck with the double XP there.
Yeah, so Philadelphia Eagles offense and Louisville Cardinals football team, you are this week's idiot of the week.
And before we go, I finally caved in this week, guys.
That's right, he caved in. I'll post a link so all y'all can bother him on Twitter.
The Dr. TTT. Follow me. I want you guys there. I figure we had the show. These two both have Twitter handles.
I may make a new one for the show because mine's on other stuff. But
pressure.
Mine's Old Spice Colts.
And mine's Hurricane of Pain, but I might change it for the show purposes. So.
I might change mine just because of the name of it at the end.
Yeah, right. Yeah, really, right. So anyway, that does it for the show this week. Good show, guys. Great stuff from OVW and a great pay-per-view coming up this week.
Thanks again to Michael Hayes.
Thank you very much. So if you want to follow us on Facebook, you can at facebook.com/triplethreattalk. You can follow us on Twitter at triplethreattalk. And you can send us any comment or question you have at triplethreattalk@yahoo.com. So with Triple Threat Talk, this is Big B.
This is PostMaster Jones.
Who was that?
This is the Dr.
See you, everybody. Enjoy Survivor Series. And once again, go Mark Henry so I don't die.